Sawadee good morning and welcome to Newsline. We're coming live to you on NBT, Radio Thailand, FM 88, and also on NBT World. It's Monday, May 11, 2015. My name is Cholapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thai people were very delighted, some even in tears, while watching Their Majesties the King and Queen leaving Sirirat Hospital on Sunday afternoon for Klai Kangwon Palace in Hua Hin, Prachuap Khiri Khan. Despite the hot summer weather, a great number of Thai people gathered at the hospital and along the route to the seaside palace to greet their beloved king and queen. Their tears of delight drooped down as the royal motorcade passed amidst clamorous resonance of well-wished voices. One of the royal supporters who had been waiting for the royal family for hours at Sirirat Hospital said that she was very delighted, although she did not catch a good glimpse of the royal faces. She added that she came to greet their majesties every time she learned the news of the movement. Prime Minister General Prayuth Chanocha and Deputy Minister of Defence and Army Commander General Udomdet Sitabut were also at the hospital to greet the King and Queen. In today's Thailand Moves Forward, Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha has said the government needs to enforce Section 44 of the temporary constitution to solve the problem of overpriced government lottery tickets. The Premier vowed to help people buy lottery tickets at 80 baht by June 2015. The Prime Minister said on his weekly television program that the government was determined to tackle the problem of overpriced government lottery tickets since it had afflicted low-income people for a long time. The government had spent more than 8 months dealing with the problem through the normal legal system, but to no avail. The government therefore had to use Section 44 to help people buy lottery tickets at 80 baht apiece. If the government failed to end overpriced lottery tickets by June 2015, it might have to temporarily cancel lottery sales in order to overhaul the lottery system. The Prime Minister has offered his condolences to the families of those who lost their lives in the recent helicopter crash in Pakistan. Deputy Government spokesperson Major General Sansern Kaew said that Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha has received the report on the fatal accident in Pakistan in which a helicopter carrying foreign dignitaries crashed in the northern region of the country. Among those deceased in the accident were the Philippine ambassador, Norwegian dignitaries, the wives of the Malaysian and Indonesian envoys. On behalf of the Royal Thai Government, Prime Minister Prayuth has offered his deepest condolences to the governments of Norway, the Philippines, Malaysia and Pakistan, as well as the families of those who passed away. The Prime Minister also offered his moral support to the Thai ambassador to Pakistan, Thomwit Chansan, who travelled in another helicopter and experienced no accident during his trip. Meanwhile, the Thai Prime Minister is concerned with how foreign patients have been ripped off by Thai hospitals. According to government spokesperson Yongyut Mayalap, the Prime Minister has been aware of complaints related to high medical bills local private hospitals have collected from foreign patients, and he has been worried about such situations. Prime Minister Prayuth has accordingly instructed all related agencies to launch an investigation and identify the solution to this problem. 3 agencies are to take part in the process, including the Medical Council of Thailand, the Health Ministry, and the Internal Trade Department. All of them will hold a discussion to determine the medical fees that are fair to both patients and hospitals, and also to work on the possible amendment of related rules and regulations before reporting the results to the Cabinet. The Ministry of Public Health has prepared to send the 3rd batch of medical staff to Nepal to offer humanitarian help to the quake victims. The 20-strong medical team comprises specialists in emergency response, orthopedics, surgeons, psychiatrists, epidemiologists, nurses, and sanitary engineers. Dr. Kriengsak Thana Asawanan from Somdet Phra Yuparat Denchai in Phra Province is the team's leader. The Thai medics will perform the duties in Kavre Palanchok district, where they will provide local people with treatment and disease control assistance in line with the post-disaster recovery process. Aside from treatment of injuries, the medical team will focus their attention on mosquito-borne diseases, following reports of malaria cases. The rainy season has now reached the South Asian country. The medical team has been assigned to perform their duties in Nepal for 14 days or until their mission has been completed. The National Legislative Assembly is set to meet again to deliberate a number of urgent draft laws. NLA President Phonphet Vichitcholachai has scheduled the next meetings for members of the legislature, that is on May 14 and 15, to review 4 urgent laws. The pending drafts include the draft amendment to the Provident Fund Act, the draft amendment to the Criminal Code, the draft Rubber Authority of Thailand Act, and the draft amendment to the Civil and Commercial Code. All of them have already been vetted by related special committees. During the upcoming sitting, the Assembly will hold an open discussion on the impact of the embezzlement scam at Klongchan Credit Union Cooperative, in which members of the NLA will inquire the progress of the case from the Prime Minister and the Justice Minister. The NLA will also touch on the issue of water shortage in Phichit Province and ask the Prime Minister about the government's alleviation effort. The Political Development Council believes that a Prime Minister should be freely elected by the people. PDC President Thirapat Serirangsan said that while the debate over the origin of the Prime Minister under the draft charter continued, he believed that it should be the people who directly elect a Prime Minister. According to Mr. Thirapat, a direct election can prevent corruption and vote buying while promoting the decentralization of power, as well as enabling the people to have more say in the administration of local affairs, such as the environmental policy. He also suggested that Prime Minister General Prayuth Chan-o-cha may agree to hold a public referendum on the draft charter, but could opt to use the power of Article 44 of the interim constitution to cancel the process if he feels it will end with the disapproval of the draft, so that the government can save around 3 billion baht. The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives has held a ritual to pay homage to the past kings of the Chakri dynasty and the god of the rain before the annual royal plowing ceremony takes place on the 13th of May. Permanent Secretary for Agriculture and Cooperatives Chawalit Chukachon, who will lead the royal plowing ceremony this year, on Sunday presided over the ritual for good luck to the ministry staff as well as the public. The ceremony was attended by official Brahmins and 4 consecrated ladies who will carry rice seed baskets in the plowing procession. The royal plowing ceremony is held on May 13th at Sanam Luang. 11 royally bestowed rice strains will be strewn over the ceremonial ground. 2,520 kilograms of rice seeds will be handed out to farmers and the public who will be joining the ceremony. And the government has indicated that current tourism promotion projects are yielding satisfactory results. Meanwhile, it is planning to encourage Thais to wear local garments to create stronger identities in each locality in the hope of creating another attraction for tourists. Minister of Tourism and Sports Gopkan Watanawarangkoon recently reported the figure of foreign tourist arrivals for the month of January up until March, during which the number of arriving tourists rose by 24% compared to the same period of the previous year. It is expected that this group of tourists had generated roughly 3.7 trillion baht of revenue for the country. At the same time, the number of Thai tourists who went on holiday in the country rose by 6%. It is expected that this group of tourists generated some 1.3 trillion baht of revenue. According to the minister, Thais generally traveled more within Thailand than outside of the country. She added that Thailand has continually maintained a surplus in tourism revenue. The Minister of Tourism and Sports will soon submit a proposal to the Cabinet calling for civil servants and members of the public to wear local or traditional garments every Friday to promote tourism and reinforce the identity of each locale. The Quality Veggies and Fruits Festival is still bustling with flow of buyers. The festival is held during the 6th up until the 10th of May under the theme week of sweet and sour mangoes, with highlights on fresh mangoes and ripe mangoes with sticky rice. Sounds yummy. One of the customers said that she came to Padung Krung Kasem Canal every time it had events and found the floating market a perfect place for summer shopping. Moreover, the market enables buyers to meet fruit farmers without interference of middlemen. A farmer of the Klong Bang Phan housing cooperatives in Bang Bon district occupies a booth in the market. She said the festival provided farmers with an alternative outlet to release their produce, and she earned twice more income from the festival itself. And the festival is organized at the Khlong Padung Krung Kase market located near the government house. It opens every day until the 31st of May, and it opens from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. On the week of the 11th up until the 17th of May, the theme of the festival will be changed to Week of Tasty Pineapples, Watermelon, Grapefruit, and Lychees. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration is working to help restore the historic areas around the Chao Phraya River in a positive, sustainable way, and there are ongoing studies looking into the issues at hand. NBT World reporter Joa Gershon attended a seminar on Bangkok's riverfront areas and brings us this report.
The City Planning Department within the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA for short, just held a seminar in which academics and experts outlined a variety of ideas that they have come up with as a working group in order to improve a historic portion of the Chao Phraya River, specifically the section from the Memorial Bridge to the Wa Sukri Pier in the heart of Bangkok. The hope is to designate the area eventually as a World Heritage Site. At the seminar, there were discussions about different project studies that have been conducted in these historic areas, as well as suggested guidelines to conserve and develop the Chao Phraya riverside and the cultural landscapes of both flanks of the river as national heritage sites. One of the main advocates for future development of these areas is Assistant Professor Pirasi Powatong, a lecturer at Chulalongkorn University's architecture faculty, who is also a community landscape and history expert, as well as a consultant on this BMA project.
Today we are going to present the result of our study. It takes about 6 months, and the objective is to try to understand the extent of the historic core of Bangkok and its values, and how to enhance that for our future. And we are looking at the heritage of Bangkok in terms of the physical, the monuments, as well as the people, the culture, and intangible objects and all that. The project hinges on the idea of the relationship, the very close relationship between the river, the city, and the people. And so, which has been like that for centuries. And so the project try to understand that relationship and the ways to kind of make that sustain in the long future. And so this is the historic core of Bangkok, and so we kind of all know the historical values of all these places. During our study, we look at the plans, the kind of potential resources that historic Bangkok already has, and we also take a very close look at the physical environment itself. And we do public hearings, trying to gauge the people's opinions about their current living status, like what they want and what they aspire to be in the future, what they want their city to look like in the future. And then we try to come up with the kind of master plan of how we could achieve this as the kind of the ideal historic city for the future. This is like a long and complicated project, and what we see here today is just the kind of introduction to that project.
If you're interested in this or other projects from Bangkok's Department of City Planning, visit their website at www.bma-cpd.go.th.
And that's it for today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. After that, Newsline will return with international news.
strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The fifth core value: maintaining preservation of Thai traditions and cultures.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
Nepal has recently been hit by a massive 7.8 magnitude earthquake. The disaster has caused great damage to the country. Thousands of people lost their lives. Thousands of people lost their family. Thousands of people lost their homes. Millions of people are still in dire need of support. You can lend a helping hand by donating to these accounts.
We have received many calls offering help in kind, means trying to send goods, and they are asking how we can help. We are really humbled by the offer of the government and the people of Thailand for our people in Nepal, and we highly appreciate it.
NBT World, a 24-hour English language television service operated by the National News Bureau of Thailand, or NNT, is designed to bring the most reliable information about Thailand to the international community. NBT World is available on various platforms, including via C-band set-top boxes, GMMZ Channel 202, PSI Channel 272, and a live stream on thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. You can also follow us on facebook.com/NNT News or download the PRD News EN application on your smartphones. NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. I'm Chalapansana Narula, and now to ASEAN and beyond. 5 out of 10 countries in the ASEAN region have indicated their wish to observe the management of vocational education in Thailand, citing the country's efficiency in addressing educational inequality, which is a common problem in ASEAN. Educational Minister Admiral Narong Pipathanasai said on the last day of the 48th CMIC held in Pattaya. The minister said many of the ASEAN counterparts indicated their intention to learn and share experience in educational management with Thailand. There included the education ministers of Indonesia, Malaysia, Timor-Leste, Singapore, and Laos PDR. All of them had bilateral meetings with Minister Narong on the sidelines of the 48th CMEC. Those ministers commended Thailand's success in applying technologies to solve obstacles to educational development, such as the use of satellite system to provide distance learning. The Thai government has also joined hands with the private sector in implementing dual vocational education projects. Apart from sharing experience in vocational education in Thailand, Minister Narong said that the Malaysian minister also expressed his interest to observe the management of privately run universities under the supervision of the Thai government. Other news, an exit poll predicted Sunday that nationalist opposition candidate Andrzej Duda will win the most votes in the first round of Poland's presidential election and will face incumbent Bronisław Komorowski in a May 24th runoff. In a surprise prediction for the vote that took place Sunday, Duda, who is no fan of the European Union, is expected to capture 34.8% of the vote to Komarovsky's 32.2%, according to the Ipsos poll published by the private TV N24 and the state-run PAP news agency. The prediction also suggested a rising dissatisfaction with the ruling pro-EU establishment, led by the centre-right and pro-business Civic Platform Party, which has been in power since 2007. That dissatisfaction was also seen in the unexpectedly high support, 20.3% of the votes, predicted for punk rock star Paweł Kukiz, a candidate who is critical of the government. The vote was a test for Poland's two major political forces, represented by Komorowski and Duda, ahead of the country's parliamentary election in the fall. Duda's Law and Justice Party backs a mix of national pride, Catholic values and socialist welfare promises and is more conservative than the current government. Typhoon Noel crashed ashore on the northeastern tip of the Philippines on Sunday as officials warned of landslides and called on residents along the coast to evacuate to safer ground. The Category 5 storm packed winds of up to 185 kilometers per hour near the center with gusts of up to 220 kilometers per hour. It made landfall in the rice-producing province of Cagayan, about 400 kilometers north of the capital Manila, according to the Weather Bureau. Residents from the coastal town of Santa Ana were evacuated to safety due to fears of damage from storm surges of up to 2 meters in height. The typhoon was expected to trigger landslides and flash floods in parts of the Cagayan Valley, according to the Weather Bureau, adding that heavy to intense rainfall was likely within the typhoon's 100 kilometers diameter. More than 5,000 passengers and about 100 vessels were stranded in ports on Saturday, mostly along the eastern seaboard. Airline Cebu Pacific cancelled at least 6 domestic flights to the northern part of the Philippines. An Airbus A400M military transport plane crashed in Seville on Saturday, killing at least 3 of those on board, emergency services have said, in the first fatal accident involving Europe's newest troop and heavy cargo carrier. The plane was on a test flight when it crashed into a field 1 mile north of Seville's San Pablo Airport. 7 people were on board. 3 had died, 2 were seriously injured, and 2 more were unaccounted for. Media images showed a plume of black smoke rising from the crash site and firefighters spraying smoking wreckage in a plowed field. Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy of Italy earlier told reporters of the campaign trail for May 24th local elections that it seemed all those on board worked at Airbus and were not military staff. Now, the Prime Minister of Spain, Mariano Rajoy, may have corrected, he cancelled his political rallies for the day. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. If you do have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to write to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. Today we say goodbye with pictures of the Thai national football team beating Myanmar 3-2 to win the ASEAN Football Federation Women's Championship. I'm Chanocha. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great day. Sawasdee ka.